There's no better feeling than a personal win, and the State Farm Personal Price Plan can help you do just that. Talk to a State Farm agent today to learn how you can bundle and save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Everything you learned in history class was a lie. Well, maybe not everything, but they skipped the best parts. Introducing Stupiracy, where stupidity meets conspiracy. Ever heard of the Olympic marathon that nearly killed its runners? Or the time a pope put another pope's corpse on trial? Join me, Scott Rizzuto, and Tim McKernan as we uncover the most outrageous historical moments and mind-blowing conspiracies you won't believe actually happened. Tune into Stupiracy for your weekly dose of historical absurdity. Available wherever you get your podcasts. Remember, history is dumb, but laughing at it is smart.
Well, I suppose it's a war in here. We got to watch Masters or Twins?
Well, it's them. In this room.
Probably the Masters.
No, it's the Masters.
Right.
You know what I say about
the Twins?
I'm
a good clicker for commercials.
Yeah, the Twins is one of 162. The Masters this is the event.
But here's the beauty of that gorgeous TCL television set in that studio over there.
Yep.
You got it on the Masters. I got the ball game on in here, so I get to watch both.
Do you remember the old? I have an old TV at my house. Now, I'd have to have a guy come over to fix it. It's one of the first HD TVs ever made, and it's pretty big. And I used to be able to do 2 screens on it. You know, you could do 2 screens. They don't do that in TVs anymore. But
I've never enjoyed that.
I would enjoy it today.
I never had that.
We already, speaking of the Twins, we have controversy already.
No, the Eagle?
The bald eagle tried taking out the Seattle starting pitcher instead of landing to the carrier.
Yeah.
The person in charge
with his hand
the
out?
retriever. I say that's a brilliant strategy from the Twins.
The Eagle, they released an Eagle. It flew majestically over the field. There's a guy waiting for it with his leathered glove on. And the Eagle went over and beat the crap out of a Seattle Seahawks pitcher.
It was James Paxton,
the guy who's
starting the game today. Oh, the photos on Twitter right now are spectacular.
Now, driving in, Joe, I heard you talking about, our guy called up and was talking to you about the circus. So you must be like saying that all these people that think it's a mistreatment of the animals are non-logicians.
No, the circus only came up because last year we didn't know the circus was in town.
Yep.
So the guy was clever enough to call and get a free plug to tell us the circus is in town.
Because I'm reminded, my wife just hates circus, right? Because it's cruel to the animals.
Well,
right?
It isn't, but
right. No, that's what she does.
Yeah,
and so I would imagine that if she was at the Twins game today and she thought they were making this eagle do this stuff, the fact that eagle went rogue, she would be in favor of that.
Okay.
Because it's like you shouldn't be using him as a
Reavers.
What?
I know this is way off brand, but can you go to the Daily Mail website?
Sure. Do I have to get off the eagle picture now?
Yes.
Okay.
And find the video of a baby elephant. I'm really pro elephant. I love elephants.
Yeah.
There's a video on the Daily Mail of a trainer in Thailand playing with this baby, and it giggles.
What?
The elephant giggles. It's just the most delightful thing you've ever heard. And the elephant is frolicking and having the time of its life and actually giggles as the trainer fools around with it.
Or it's trained to giggle, Joe. You know, it's really not enjoying it.
No, it's not trained to giggle. It's not in a circus yet or anything.
I loved going to the Shriner Circus when I was a kid. My dad would always take us. You know what my favorite part of the circus was I would always beg my dad to get me one of those Shriner hats.
Oh, yeah.
A fez.
Yeah.
Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
You know, they'd have the little felt fez caps.
Yeah.
And my dad didn't want to get me one.
Yeah.
You know, but that was the number one thing that I wanted.
Do you have any thoughts yet about the Masters? Too soon, isn't it, really?
Oh,
other than Sergio setting a record for most strokes on a hole?
Yeah, Sergio, and you have to go look it up. I mean, the guy hits, 4 in the water, and they were all really good shots?
No.
It
was 4 in the water, yeah. 4 shots, 4, 6, 8, and 10 went into the water.
Yep.
Shot 12 went to the green. Shot 13 went into the hole.
Yeah. So he was laying in front of the green in 3 for some reason. He must have gotten in trouble off the tee.
Yeah.
And he's flipping wedges in, and the shots all looked great. And they just rolled in. And that's a little goofy how it's set up.
And Tony Finau, who turned his ankle yesterday, apparently not seriously.
Well, I mean, he must have like a trick ankle. because the thing
He popped it right back in. I watched him.
It was a 90-degree angle.
Yeah.
And he just popped it back in, and I'm thinking, oh, this poor guy finally gets to play in the Masters, and he won't be able to play, and he's not only playing.
Under.
He's 3 under.
He's 3 under.
He finished his round yesterday.
Yeah, which would be what today? 1 off the lead, 3 under right now.
Would that be a great story? And he's, he got a start, Joe. There was this crappy, I used to watch it. I'm sorry, this crappy reality show called The Big Break on the Golf Channel. Did you ever see that?
Sure.
He was on that, and now he's doing quite well. Top 40 player in the world, top 30 player in the world.
He's an American.
Yes,
he's from Salt Lake City.
Yep,
but he's of Tongan and Samoan ancestry.
Yep. And the thing that he's not, I think he's like 34.
No, he was born in '89.
Okay, so he's 30 or 20.
28.
Did you see he had 4 kids yesterday? He had 4
and
kids.
They were all
running.
jumping up and down when he hit the ball. Why was he running to the green?
Because he got a hole in one.
No, I know that.
I think he just was so happy he had a hole in one, he started running.
Huh.
And then he realized, I got to get my kids, and he turned around, and that's when he popped out his ankle, and just popped it right back in. Amazing. Yeah.
Reaver, did you have any success? Here we go. Listen to the elephant. That is the cutest elephant I've ever seen. Come on, laugh again. Here he goes. There's not many radio shows where you're going to tune in and hear an elephant giggling. Not laughing, giggling. There it is again, yeah. The trainer, his handler, just was playing with him with an empty bucket. Okay. And the elephant thought, this is the damnedest good a time I ever had in my life.
Where was this again?
Thailand.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
You can find yourself a giggling elephant over in Thailand.
Okay, is Ozariti pitching?
No, he pitched last night.
Okay.
Your guy, Kyle Gibson.
He's a cold weather guy. He pitched the game against Toronto in 2014 when it was 31 degrees.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What year was that?
2014 at Target Field.
2014. Mm-hmm. Okay.
See, I was telling Reavers earlier, we think this can't be. This spring is so delayed. I looked it all up. It's all happened before.
Well, you know when it happened? It happened 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I've got pictures on my phone where we got snow on May 2nd. I had 4 inches of snow in my yard on May 2nd, and we did that all April. I remember that because I drove down to Iowa to play golf. I was so desperate.
Okay,
in
May
2013.
6th, 1976.
I think it was May.
No.
Okay. May. This is 1976.
May 6, 1976. Twins were snowed out.
Really?
Mm-hmm. No, I'm sorry. May 2nd, 1976.
Yes.
The snow melted by game time, but the field was too wet. So
now that won't even bother them because they just turned on the heaters.
1962. I'm going to give you this.
So this has every Twins game in this book?
Yeah. No, it has every. This was a book I did about the weather because I was grousing terribly about having to go indoors. So I said we should have a record of what it was like outside. But here's the deal in '62.
Was that a big money maker?
That was their
for you
second. I made a fortune off this. In 1962.
That's why he's still here.
Getting older. Okay. The scheduled opener in 1962 was April 12, but it was against the Angels. But the state got a foot of snow in the southern 2/3 of the state on that morning, and the Twin Cities got 6 inches by 6 p.m. of the 12th, making a total of 81.3 inches of snow for the year. The next day, the 13th of April, 1962, was the coldest April 13th on record, 2 degrees above zero early that morning. And by the time they finally opened on the 14th, it was 33 degrees with strong winds when they opened, and a whopping crowd of 8,363.
Yeah. Well, I remember, because I would go to almost every opener at the Met.
My point being, we forget that this all has happened before. Yeah. We've had cold openers.
Oh,
today's turning out actually lucky.
I got to say, walking in from the parking lot 10 minutes ago with the sun coming down, it feels fine.
If you're along the third base side today and you got a jacket on, you'll be comfortable.
Yes.
It is going to start snowing at 6, however.
So they need to get the game done in 3 hours. Yeah. I did, by the way, because I was home and obviously not at the game in Pittsburgh yesterday, but I did enjoy watching them play in a snowstorm.
Yes, that was fun.
That I was sitting in my living room watching.
Right.
It was, and it was great. I mean, now Fernando Rodney is everybody's when he was catching the snowflakes in his tongue while he was on the mound. I mean, now there's a guy who's living it. Just let it go. You got to love the guy already just for that. So
Is ESPN doing this commercial free?
I doubt it, but maybe. I don't know.
haven't yet
I don't
clicked
know.
to a Twins game. The Twins game.
And I've really gotten into watching golf the last couple of weeks because of Tiger and all that. And it's amazing when you watch a Sunday afternoon regular tour event.
Yeah.
3 shots, 4 minutes of commercials. 4 shots, 4 minutes. It's brutal.
Yeah.
It's almost unwatchable.
We
Really
do
is.
have an on-site report about the Eagle at Target Field.
Uh-oh. Is it Patrick?
Team Schuster more dangerous, throwing out 5 first balls than Challenger the Eagle. Catchers ducking as baseballs fly about haphazardly. Team Schuster came out and they went 5 for 5 on the throw.
Who's Team Schuster?
The guys that won the gold medal, the curling team.
Who's Team Schuster? How could you miss Team Schuster, Joe? They're everywhere.
Those guys, are they getting paid for these gigs? They're everywhere.
They're the now Kevin Hart of Minnesota sports. They're basically everywhere.
The gold medal curling team.
Yes.
All right, just a moment. Frozen Four is in town.
Yes, sir.
We have Minnesota, Duluth, and Ohio State at 5 o'clock, and Michigan and Notre Dame at 8:30. This is at XL Energy Center. The Timberwolves are where?
Denver.
They're in Denver. The Twins are just now underway at home. The Masters is underway. A pretty good weekend, huh?
Yeah, and the Wild are locked into their spot. They're going to play.
Although they lost at the Duck last night.
Yeah, I watched some of that game. I don't know why. It didn't mean anything. It looked like once they found out they were locked into the third period, it looked like they just didn't want to play.
Well, it
anymore.
meant a hell of a lot to Anaheim,
It did.
didn't it?
It meant nothing to the Wild. So,
Anaheim got a playoff spot.
yes, that was important for them.
So who did they push away? Colorado?
Well, now it's down to every spot is taken. There's one last spot. It's between Colorado and St. Louis. Colorado has a 1-point lead, and they play each other the last game of the season.
Oh, boy.
They both have one more game. So if Colorado wins that game and St. Louis loses that game, then it would be over. But if that doesn't happen, then the last game will determine it.
Well, I'm trying to find it here.
The Blues last night, your Blues of Mike Yeo, they were scored upon by the Blackhawks with 9 seconds left to lose that game in regulation. If they'd held on for 9 seconds, they would have at least picked up one more. They would have picked up the bonus point.
Wild. Well, the Wild play tonight.
Yeah, they play the Kings tonight.
The Kings. But let's see. Colorado.
Kings are in. They're just all jockeying for position on the other side.
Colorado at San Jose.
And the St. Louis does play at Chicago. I don't know, maybe tonight or tomorrow night, and then they play each other.
St.
the
Louis
last
at
game.
Chicago tomorrow.
Yeah. So.
All right.
So that.
Will the Timberwolves make the playoffs?
I'm going to guess probably, but there's a lot of people, me included, that have kind of lost interest in whether they do or they don't. I would be interested if they could finish strong and get right now, Joe, between the 4th place team and the 9th place team. There's 2 games difference.
Really?
So the Wolves could finish as low as 9th, maybe even 10th, and could finish as high as 4th, and with only 4 games left. I mean, if they run the table at 4-0, then they have a good chance to finish 4th, and then I'd be excited. If they finish in the 7th seed or the 8th seed and have to play the Rockets or the Warriors and just get drummed out of the playoffs in the first round, I'd almost rather see them miss the playoffs so that everybody would hate Tibbs as much as I do.
Reavers, are the Timberwolves going to make the playoffs?
I think they will, but as someone that's looking at their long-term success, I think it's in their best interest if they miss. Because you're going to play Houston or Golden State and get, as Korzo said, you're going to get smoked in 4 games, and you're not going to win.
Well, why would that be in their
Because
best
then they would
interest?
also have a second number 1 draft pick that they would lose if they made the playoffs.
Well, all right.
Plus, as Korzo said, I think it'd just be great because it's Minnesota sports and it's great theater for us.
And then all of those, then Tibbs would have very little. Although he could always say, "Well, Jimmy Butler got hurt." That would be his defense, I suppose.
Which
been a dreadful season.
which does matter. But,
it does matter.
But this team is in such dysfunction.
It's in disarray.
They're winning in spite of the head coach.
Correct. They hate the head coach. It's pretty obvious.
Well, he was brought here with great fanfare.
Yeah, it was. But I will say
He
this:
seems so disagreeable.
when he was the choice, I was on the air with these airwaves, and I was saying, I get why you go after Tibbs. He had great success in Chicago. He got fired, and a lot of the reason everyone thought was because he couldn't get along with his ownership, and the players loved him and all this stuff. But I said he is not the guy they should hire because he's stuck in the past. And unfortunately, I proved to be right. Both his offense and his defense, it does not play the way that the NBA in 2018 is remarkably different than it was in 2011. Completely different. It's all the 3-pointers and small ball and gunning, and Tibbs is still stuck playing the game like it was 7 years ago. And his whole defense that he designed and that he still uses was great 7 years ago, and it doesn't work anymore because it gives the other teams threes, because nobody shot threes in 2011. Now all teams want to shoot threes, and they're killing the Wolves by doing that. And the Wolves themselves do not shoot threes. And he didn't build his roster to shoot threes, so he's built a team that would be great if it was 2011. Unfortunately, it's 2018.
All right. I'm getting a text
From Patrick?
from the chief offsite correspondent, Dan. Sorry about the factual problem on Sergio. I joined his struggle midway. I didn't understand it. He hit shots number 2, number 4, number 6, number 8, and number 10 into the water.
No, that's not. He can't hit number 2 because he was on the 15th hole, which is a par 5. And so he was hitting he was hitting a wedge.
Oh.
So
maybe you saw it. Maybe you saw it after he hit.
Well, no, he had to be. Oh, yeah. Oh, so maybe he hit a second in the water and then dropped.
Yes.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he hit a second in the water.
Yeah.
He's laying 3, then he hit 4 in the water, laying 5, then he hit 6 in the water, laying 7.
Keep going.
8 in the water, laying 9.
Right.
10 in the water, laying 11, 12, and 1 putt. So he 1 putted.
Yeah.
That's the old, how'd you make a 13? He goes, I 1 putted. I made up, that's the famous, I'm having the Spaniard, the great Spaniard, the Seve. We said, how did you 4 putt? He goes, I make. That's.
Driver peeking wig.
Yeah.
He had a peeking wig. I make.
Yeah. So he hit 5 in the water.
Yeah.
Man, that's incredible.
It'll only be incredible if he wins the tournament.
Yeah.
Then that would, you look back and say, that's incredible he won this tournament. For a pro to get a 13, it makes me feel better.
Yeah, he's 9
But
over.
you described the shots to me. You thought they were wonderful looking shots.
Oh, yeah, I didn't see the second shot, which would be the long shot on the par 5 from 200 and some yards. But his wedges were all landed on the green around the hole with not, we've all seen Joe when the ball spins back really hard.
Yeah.
These did not spin back hard. They landed and spun back a little and are, they are going by the hole, looking like it's going to stop a foot from the hole, and it just kept rolling, and it didn't even pick up a lot of speed. It was like just going so slowly and rolled off. So other than the last one he hit in the water, where he kind of finally hit a crappy one, they were all good shots. I mean, he didn't mishit them, is what I'm saying. So, yeah, that was kind of brutal.
And he had no option. He had to keep dropping and hitting.
He did.
Yeah. Unlike, what's the movie with...
Tin Cup.
Tin Cup, where he
could have gone up and dropped because Sergio was already near the water.
Right.
Yeah, he was hitting wedges. Yeah, after the first one that he hit in the water.
Look at this, Reavers. Seattle's already up over your Twins, 1-0.
That's because, according to my last tweet, ground ball to Sano. Here's Sano with the pitch, just a bit outside. He threw it to the dugout, for God's sake. It
Wait
was
a
one
minute.
of the worst.
You're in there running this show, tweeting.
Well, I'm monitoring I'm monitoring the ball.
He's bringing listeners to the station. Look at that. It looks like most of the people showed up.
We're going to be back in just a moment. Right now, thanks to our good friends in Owatonna, Minnesota, at Federated Insurance, where it's their business to protect your business. And nobody does that better than Federated. It's Bruce Vail from the Wall Street Journal and Your Money Now.
Well, we had a pretty good day, Joe. Stocks were higher at the close for a third straight day as trade concerns eased. The Dow Jones Industrial Average and the S&P 500 got a bit closer to getting back into positive territory for the year. The Dow gained 240 points, closing at 24,505. The S&P 500 picked up 18 points, and the NASDAQ, which is already back in positive territory, gained 34 points. President Trump thinks the Postal Service isn't charging Amazon not enough to deliver its packages, and that's one of the reasons why it is losing so much money. But former Postmaster General Patrick Donahoe says that is incorrect. He told UBS analysts that Amazon is profitable for the Postal Service and that Amazon's business would fall under the competitive products category, which has rules dictating pricing. Sonic is joining the growing list of restaurant companies that are making their products available in grocery stores. The drive-in chain is launching several grab-and-go products that feature its popular flavors like cherry limeade in frozen novelties, gelatins, puddings, and even lollipops. They'll all be available in stores nationwide this spring. I'm Bruce Vail with your Money Now on 1500 ESPN.
All right, thanks, Bruce. This traffic sponsored by Firestone Auto Care. Pretty nice start. Only one incident so far. There's a stall on 94 eastbound at White Bear Avenue. The left lane is partially blocked. Only congestion we really see is in the area of the crosstown. Other than that, everything pretty good. Firestone Complete Auto Care, keeping cars running newer, longer. Whatever you drive a Firestone. Our forecast, 14 overnight tonight. Cold tomorrow. Wind chills around 15 all day long, only 27 for a high. Right now it's sunny, and we've got 39 degrees.
Here's John Height.
Thank you, Joe. It's sunny, 39 degrees.
You having fun in there, boys?
Chris, I think he's a little shaken or something.
Well, here's the problem.
Yeah, what's the problem?
I'm missing my first opening day in almost 20 years. So I'm adjusting to not being at the ballpark today.
Mm-hmm.
You know, world's smallest violin right here. See it, Johnny? I'm playing the world's smallest violin.
Twins home opener is going on, and Chris is missing it. It's already 2-0 Seattle.
So is Miguel Sano, apparently, too. He's missing it, too.
Seattle scoring 2 runs in the top of the first inning. The Twins coming to bat in the bottom now. James Paxton on the mound for Seattle. Kyle Gibson for the Twins. James had a little encounter with an eagle before the game started. He was out loosening up, and the eagle that was flying over the stadium landed on James. Mm-hmm. So
my sources are telling me that Paxton is from Canada.
Oh, well.
That eagle knew what his target was. Go after the Canadian.
None of that surprised me because of our seasoned experience with birds of prey at the fair. You know, we've had eagles land on us and get stuck in the tree. The whole deal. Wouldn't go get a ladder.
Wouldn't come down. Wouldn't come join us.
Offered him a whole chicken. Come on.
Maybe he just wanted to watch the program. By the way, Korzo, I don't know if you're aware, but about a year ago at this time, in fact, you might have been here doing the ride for Patrick for opening day. Joe, John, the Rook, and I were able to do Garage Logic live from Target Field.
Yes.
And one of the four of us actually stayed for the game.
I had to get home and watch a game.
So I'm guessing that one would be you, right? Right.
We got to get home.
Watch the game on
Got to
TV.
watch the game on TV.
Exactly.
You're at the ballpark.
That's all right.
You know what, Reavers? If I was there,
You would have left too?
Oh, yeah. I maybe an inning. Yeah.
Also, you guys missed the first pitch, I hear, the curling boys.
Yes.
It was 5 of the curlers lined up.
Oh, yeah.
And then 5 twins acting as catchers lined up.
Okay.
The third guy in the middle threw the ball to the fourth guy on the other side. The twins catchers basically stood up and scattered because the balls were flying everywhere.
I think they should have rolled them up
Didn't
there.
go well.
Oh, that would have been cool.
Right, like they're curling them.
They should have had a guy sweeping.
Yeah, exactly.
Got
Come
some
on.
sweepers out there.
Good idea. At the Masters today, Henrik Stenson is at 4 under, as is Adam Hadwin and Charlie Hoffman. Stenson through 17, Hadwin and Hoffman through 16. If you're wondering, Tiger is done for the day. He's in the clubhouse at 1 over.
Well in the mix.
Mm-hmm. Wild lose to Anaheim 3-1 last night. Right back at it tonight on the West Coast, where they will play Los Angeles. And big game for the Wolves. They need to, keep winning to make the playoffs. They're in Denver to play the Nuggets. News notes from today. A man found with a gunshot wound early this morning in Minneapolis is expected to survive, according to police. Minneapolis Police Public Information Officer John Elder said a report of a shooting on the 2800 block of Cedar Avenue was received about 3:25 this morning. When they got there, officers discovered the man. Elder said officers applied a pair of chest seals to the wound and administered first aid until medics arrived. The seals are carried by every Minneapolis officer for use in such emergencies. Man transported to the hospital is expected to survive. No suspect in custody yet. The matter remains under investigation. Federal grand jury in central Illinois has indicted those 3 men suspected of bombing a Minnesota mosque on a charge of possessing a machine gun. The fourth man not linked to the bombing also indicted. 47-year-old Michael Harry, 29-year-old Michael McMortar, 22-year-old Joe Morris, and 18-year-old Ellis Mack arrested on March 13th on the weapons charges. Crews working today to clean up a train derailment in Shakopee. The derailment happened near Valley Park Drive.
I was going to say it was right across from Valley Fair, wasn't it?
Yeah, very close to the entrance to
What
Valley
spilled?
Fair.
Sand, wasn't it?
There's 5 cars derailed. There was no hazardous material. There was soybean meal in the train cars. Spokesperson also said cranes are being used to put cars back on the tracks. The track will need to be repaired and inspected. They hope to get the track back open by later on this evening. Other trains, for now, are being rerouted. Propane from a faulty water heater was what asphyxiated that Iowa family that died during spring break, according to Mexican police. In an interview today with the Des Moines Register, Christopher Martinez, the main investigator on the case for the Fiscalia General Office in the Tulum municipality, laid out what police know of the last days of Kevin, Amy, Sterling, and Adriana Sharp of Creston, Iowa. Family had been staying at the luxury Tao Mexico vacation community on the east coast of the Yucatan Peninsula. The initial autopsies conducted in nearby Playa del Carmen show the 4 Iowans died of asphyxiation from propane inhalation. The water heater in the condominium, which used liquid propane for fuel, had rusted in the humid Caribbean climate.
Joe, I know this was a conversation that we had last hour, but this is an email I think that needs your attention from David talking about the speed of light. Mm-hmm. You ready?
Oh, no.
Light travels at a constant speed of around 1.07 billion kilometers per hour. That works out to around 299 million meters per second, or about 670 million miles per hour. To put that in perspective, if you could travel at the speed of light, you would be able to circumnavigate the globe approximately 7.5 times in 1 second. Meanwhile, a person flying at an average speed of about 800 kilometers per hour, 500 miles an hour, would take over 50 hours to circle the planet just once.
Could you repeat the part of the stuff about all the things?
See? There you go. I'll forward that to you.
Got all that, huh? One other thing from last hour, I went and looked up because Chris's question made me wonder. The kerosene we talked about.
This was the drunk lady buying kerosene at the gas station?
Yes, trying to put kerosene in her car instead of gasoline. Yeah. Apparently, in many states, there is a kerosene pump at gas stations. I've never seen that.
I haven't either.
But I looked it up online, and it's fairly common in many other states. So apparently she just pulled up to the kerosene pump and tried to put that in her car. So
that's probably not wise to put the kerosene pump next to the...
Not very smart.
At that point, that's the least of her problem.
That's a good...
Yeah. For those who still want to fly supersonic air travel after the Concorde, some exciting news from NASA. This has nothing to do with light years, Chris. I see the look on your face.
Okay.
You're wondering. The U.S. Space Agency has announced it's going ahead with plans to develop an aircraft that can break the sound barrier, but do it quietly. That means, unlike its sonic boom-producing predecessors, including the Concorde, it could operate commercial routes over land.
So could I get you the Milky Way? Name 3 Mickeys.
Mickey Rooney.
Yep.
Mickey Mantle.
Mm-hmm.
And Mickey Way. They'll take that one. Mickey?
3
Mickey Way.
3 Mickeys.
NASA has awarded Lockheed Martin a $247.5 million contract to build the supersonic aircraft. It wants the aerospace company to refine, build, and test the experimental aircraft known as the X-plane, or the Low Boom Flight Demonstrator, and deliver it to NASA's Armstrong Flight Research Center by the end of 2021. You know how stores get money when they sell the winning lottery ticket?
Yep.
This story's cool. The owner of a New Jersey gas station where a $521 million lottery ticket was sold said he will share the store's $30,000 bonus with all of his employees. Huh. Amir Krass is the
Each get $50.
Well, 30,000. I mean,
I suppose that's a grand.
Yeah,
apiece.
10 employees. Well, he's got more than 30, or less than 30 employees.
All right, I'm sorry, John.
Come on, Chris.
Didn't mean to offend you.
Guy's trying to do a good thing, Chris. Amir Krass is the owner of the Riverdale Lick Oil South. Said he plans to give his 10 employees, Chris, big bonuses after the New Jersey Lottery awarded him the $30,000 for his prize selling the ticket that won Friday night's Mega Millions drawing. He said each will get a bonus. He said he promised them a share of the money before he knew the amount. Krass said some of the money will also go toward a local charity seeking to build a church. The owner said the Mega Millions winner, who has not yet come forward, is a regular customer that he is familiar with. Friday's drawing marked the 4th largest jackpot in Mega Millions history. Pizza man to the rescue. Donato's pizza driver, Ralph Lettner, told a local TV station in Kentucky he was delivering a pizza to a mobile home park in Somerset when he saw a house on fire.
Oh, no.
Lettner says he jumped out of his car, raced into the home to shut off a breaker that was on fire. He found the homeowner, one other person inside, and got them out. Homeowner Jesse Decker says Lettner is a hero who saved his home and his life. Lettner says his parents raised him to help people when they needed help. Says he wasn't even supposed to be at work, but he had stayed past the end of his shift because it was busy. Firefighters.
Hey, Mickelson. Hey, hit in the woods again.
Firefighters say an electrical problem caused the fire. And a Toyota dealer in California.
You were trying to hit the Sergio one, weren't you? Because he hit it in the water.
Is that what all the noise is over there? You're looking for things on your
for the Sergio button
on your computer.
Hey, Chipper. Hey, where'd you get the trophy wife?
I don't have Sergio anymore.
Come on, you know what? I bet you double clicked it. That's what
Hey,
happened.
Mickelson. Hey, hit in the woods again.
No, you already played that one.
Hey,
Yeah.
Bush, give me a ball. Give me a ball, Bush. I voted for Gore, you Hey, Bush, give me a ball. Give me a ball. Hey, you're all right. But Cheney sucks. He sucks. Where's Cheney? Sergio, give me the ball. Autograph the ball for me.
So we do have the Sergio.
We do have Sergio.
Yeah.
All right. Just a moment.
Down in Florida, authorities say a Florida school superintendent was pulled over for illegally passing a school bus as police were running a bus safety campaign.
Oh, boy.
Florida Today reports Superintendent of Brevard Public Schools, Desmond Blackburn, was driving his district-issued SUV the morning of March 27th when he was stopped and given a warning.
Florida drivers are the absolute worst in the country. Is that a fair statement?
Sure.
I drove from Sarasota to Fort Myers 2 weeks ago. I was going fast. Mm-hmm. And I was
Were you in the world's fastest car?
I sure was.
A rental car.
Mm-hmm. And people were going by me as if I was standing still.
Really?
Yeah.
That makes them bad drivers?
Well, but they're extremely aggressive.
Well, that's better than the ones that sit in the left lane and clog it.
I disagree. Well, they're both bad, don't you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
Melbourne
We got to the bottom of that.
Melbourne police had increased patrols around school buses from February 26th until March 29th as part of Operation Busted. Get it?
I get it, John. I
BUSTED.
do. Busted.
A police spokeswoman said officers issued 115 tickets and 14 warnings for failure to stop for a school bus during the campaign. Blackburn acknowledged he was one of the drivers who needed a reminder and thanked police for their work. Florida law says vehicles traveling in both directions on an undivided roadway have to stop for a stopped school bus. This story you've probably seen, but we now have more details. I've kind of been sitting on it a couple of days because I had questions. But the questions,
we'll help you.
Well, they've been answered now with the new version of the story. A Nevada dad stole the scene at the moment of his daughter's engagement when he interrupted the proposal with a big sign that read, "Say no." 23-year-old Levi Bliss conspired with his relatives and the family of 22-year-old Allison Barron to surprise his intended while he popped the question in a scenic location. Bliss had Barron's family set up letters spelling "Marry Me?" on the side of a large hill, and he then took his girlfriend driving past the display and stopped to officially propose. Barron's family hid in the bushes nearby, and her dad interrupted the proposal unexpectedly by popping out holding the big sign that said, "Say no." She took pics. The pics ended up on social media, of course. Now, Barron told Inside Edition, this was my question when I first saw the story, if he was serious or not. Apparently not. She said it was one of her father's famous, quote, dad jokes.
Well, wait a minute. People actually thought he was upset with the engagement?
I did when I first saw the story.
I knew he was joking the whole time.
I didn't.
Oh.
But see, if he didn't really want her to do it and he put the sign up, then I would have enjoyed the story.
If he actually objected.
Yes. Because you do this cockamamie, let's do a sign crap that they do now for proposals. They do it for prom, too. No, I would have liked if he actually, like as a guy in the stand saying, "Say no."
Playing the part of Kenny Olson this afternoon.
Yes,
Scott
Korzo.
Korzo.
Get off my lawn. Exactly.
Somebody was mad, though. The couple said the only one not amused by the sign was Bliss's mom, the bride.
I really lost track of the whole thing.
Well, it's hard
to keep up with it, Joe. It's hard.
You're watching golf. See?
No, I was trying to pay attention, but
I was trying. Okay.
How hard? How hard
Not,
did you try?
Not my hardest.
On a 1 to 10, what do you got? Maybe 5?
3, maybe?
3? Oh, wow. Surprised you got that much, John.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Masters Week.
Managers of a Sonic fast food restaurant in Mississippi put up a sign in the drive-thru with a request for customers. The sign said, "Don't smoke marijuana while ordering."
Okay.
Customers at the Sonic drive-thru in Gulfport snapped photos that went viral online after the restaurant posted the sign. The sign reads, "Attention, if you are smoking weed in the drive-thru, you will not be served. Please show some common courtesy and smoke and air out before pulling up to order." Store manager Yasmin Freeman said the sign was posted in March after a customer in the drive-thru blew marijuana smoke in the face of an employee who is a minor. Freeman said the sign appears to have been effective, as well as serving as a conversation topic for amused patrons.
All I need is some tasty waves, cool buzz, and I'm fine.
She told the Sun Herald newspaper there have been a lot of pictures taken. It's happened again.
I know that, dude.
Did you see his son got busted?
No.
Who is that?
For drugs.
Sean Penn.
Sean Penn.
No, I knew that was Sean Penn, but I didn't know he had a kid.
Yeah, he has a child who just was busted for.
Oh, gnarly!
No, that's the opposite, Sean. Opposite.
It's happened again, this time in Miamisburg, Ohio. Investigators say a Miamisburg house caught fire after the homeowner tried to kill insects with some sort of flammable device.
There you go.
Crews were called to a duplex along Montgomery Street in Miamisburg early last Thursday morning. Investigators say the flames started on the second floor and spread throughout the home. Homeowner told firefighters he had been trying to kill insects that he found crawling around inside. Miami Valley Fire District Chief Steve Meadows said if you want to get rid of bugs in your home, call the professionals. Said we always recommend to have a professional if you have a rodent or insect problem, not to use open flames. Both families inside the duplex were evacuated with no injuries. The fire caused about $20,000 in damages.
John, do you have to go?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Just a minute. Just a minute.
I know that, dude.
All right, Reavers, quiz us.
So Tim submitted this email, 7 Masters trivia questions that will stump even the biggest golf fans. Only 3 pro golfers have been members of Augusta National. Who are they?
Arnold Palmer,
Yep.
Jack Nicklaus,
Yep.
and I would probably think maybe Byron Nelson.
No, Korzo, you got a guess?
Gary Player?
No. Senior PGA Tour player John Harris.
I knew John Harris was a member. I don't know what,
right.
but I forgot that he became a pro.
Yeah.
The Masters was not played in 1943, 1944, and 1945. What was the club used for during these years?
Some sort of war offices.
Look at you. To help with the war effort, the grounds of Augusta National were used to raise turkeys and cattle.
Wow.
What was the admission price to the first Masters in 1934?
50 cents.
I was going to say 50 cents, too.
Actually, more than I would have guessed, $2.20.
That was probably more expensive than it is today.
Yeah, it was $2 admission,
I think
20
so.
cents tax.
No, I mean more expensive if you allow for inflation.
Yeah.
Comparatively speaking.
When did the first African-American play in the Masters?
That would be 1979 is my guess. Lee Elder.
Lee Elder's the correct answer, just a bit sooner, 1975.
75.
Who was the only president to be a member of Augusta National?
Dwight Eisenhower.
Boom.
Yep. I can't get in with Joe. He's too good.
Who coined the term Amen Corner?
Herbert
a writer
Warren, Herbert Warren Wynn.
Okay, Korzo beats me on that.
Wow.
He was a New Yorker writer.
And how about this? One of the first Masters I covered, Herbert Warren Wind was there.
Really?
And I went up and talked to him.
What
He was very old then.
What was the reason? Because it doesn't give you an explanation.
He said that when you go and play those 3 holes, you need to say your prayers, amen.
Okay.
So he wrote that in a column, and they gathered the name.
And last, Augusta National is a seasonal club. During what months is it closed for golfing?
June, July,
June,
and
July, August.
You guys are experts, man. Holy cow.
Which is
wanna join
another
it?
reason. I was telling Korzo off the air, I bet it's cheaper to belong to Augusta than it is any local club here.
You think so?
Well, God knows what they make for the Masters.
Yeah,
sure.
And then they're not there for 3 months.
Sure.
Those one guy, they got a new member, and you got to be asked to be a member. And the guy said when he got there, "Is there a wine cellar here?" And they said, "No, there isn't." And when he got his bill that year, I think they only get billed once a year. When he got his bill, it just said, "You are going to build us a wine cellar." I think it works like that.
Wow. Because he had the connection to make that possible.
No, he
just would cut a check to do it. That was his responsibility.
Yeah. Somebody else might get a bill to say you got to get new furniture for the Eisenhower cabin. Or I don't think they get billed a lot.
Could you walk on there if you knew somebody and play in like August?
No.
Not
that I'm aware of.
No,
okay.
You're not playing when it's closed.
Also, it's the most well-satellited course in the world. There are satellites devoted specifically to monitoring the condition of the course.
Oh, I thought you meant like satellites where you go to the bathroom.
No. Satellites in the air that can tell how it's being watered.
I know. It's
Rick Shevchik has done a great book. The name of it escapes me, and I apologize, but it's set at Augusta, and it's a real inside look.
You've mentioned that book before.
Another good book, Kurt Sampson, The Masters. Read it.
Okay.
It's a good book, too.
What do you have coming up?
We're going to talk little Masters, little Twins, little Wolves, little Wild. So, we're going to just kind of run the gamut on that. Mostly I'll be complaining about Tibbs, but, I've got to mix in some other things.
Now, you do seem to have a...
You know what, Joe? 2 games into his first season, I said, this guy will never work. Sometimes first impressions are correct.
Really?
That one was.
2 games in.
2 games in.
You didn't give him much chance.
2 games in, no.
1500 ESPN is KSTP St. Paul, Minneapolis. It's 37 degrees. The ball game's underway. The Masters is underway, and the ride with Korzanowski is coming up next.